Hey, good morning. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another early morning yarn with Stringybark. I hope we all have a great, safe and productive day and get home to our families or whatever we got going on this afternoon. My fellow Australians, last night I did a bit of research into the polls at the moment in Australia and just try to gauge, what the next 2 years, 18 months is going to look like leading up to the next federal election, and what these useless politicians and how their political parties are going to be looking at that time. And listen here, I'm never a doubtful person, but if the coalition don't get their shit together, and I mean soon, this is not going to work out good for our great country and my fellow Australians. Labor currently holds a clear election winning advantage, commanding a 58% to 44% two-party preferred lead over the coalition. According to the YouGov public data, despite a massive primary surge from Pauline Hanson One Nation earlier in the year, preference flows indicate Labor is still on track for a decisive win. We are standing at a fascinating and a volatile crossroads in Australian political history. Let's look at the numbers dominating the headlines today. Earlier this year, we witnessed an absolute political earthquake when Pauline Hanson's One Nation surged dramatically, at times capturing primary votes in high 20 to 30% range in major polls, briefly even pushing the Liberal National Coalition into the third place. It was a period of intense voter frustration, particularly in the wake of the federal budget adjustments to capital gains, negative gearing, the horrible Bondi attack, but political tides turn fast. The latest data reveals the One Nation bubble has begun to stabilise and voters scrutinise their policies and weigh their options. According to the latest YouGov public data polling, the primary vote has shifted again. While One Nation and Labor are fiercely battling for the highest primary support, the distribution of preferences tell us a completely different story. Once those preferences are allocated, the incumbent Labor government pulls decisively ahead, leading the coalition on a two-party preferred basis of 58% to 42%. My fellow Australians, this is the issue with the two-party preferred system in our great country, Australia. And it's the whole reason why Albanese got voted in on nearly 28% national vote, and he became PM and the Labor Party got in. And they were also backed by the Teals, those city Teals as well, which all preference Labor as well. Meanwhile, the Liberal National Coalition, actually, they are an embarrassment, and I actually don't know what they're trying to do. It seems to me that you are trying to let Albanese win. It seems to me that you're just trying to be as useless and as hopeless as you can. And it seems to me that you're just trying to come after One Nation, and you're trying to put the One Nation supporters down, and you're trying to get the One Nation popularity down as well. The Liberal National Coalition continues to face historic lows in primary support. Opposition leader Angus Taylor is working hard to regain ground, having ruled out coalition deals with One Nation. But the data shows it's still a steep uphill battle that they are facing. Angus, mate, I thought you would have actually ditched the Nationals and Matt Canavan, because I'm going to attach a video of David Littleproud, and I still have no idea why you got rid of David Littleproud, especially when you just replaced him with Matt Canavan. I actually live in the electorate of David Littleproud out here in the beautiful Maranoa, Western Queensland. I've actually met David Littleproud a few times, and I don't mind him at all.
People left to fight for Islamic State. The only reason they want to come back is because they lost. They wanted to establish an Islamic State in the Middle East. They lost that conflict through violence, and now they want to come back here. So I have deep concerns about their ideology and what's left of it, whether they could work with us. And we made that offer available to the government. If they pose a national security risk, then the coalition stood ready to work with adjustments legislatively around those temporary exclusion order parameters parameters, and we're prepared to do it. And we're now going to have to ensure that we monitor this individual, because obviously Ignazio from your report is telling us that she poses a significant security risk. And this is the disappointing aspect where the government has been flat-footed.
If you do not have the courage to look yourself in the mirror, to look the country in the eye and say it is not guns that are the problem, but it is radical Islam that is a problem, then all you are doing is diverting attention and taking away the rights of lawful Australians, whether they be on farms or whether they be in metropolitan areas, that have done the right thing by this country, that have abided by the law and should not have their rights taken away. Because that is not the Australia that we deserve to hand over to the next generation. And that's the one that a gutless government that hasn't got the courage to face into the problem. That's the gutless nature of this government that will not own up to the problems that has been allowed to seep into this country for 2.5 years.
Angus, you've ruled out partnering up with One Nation. What's your plan now, mate? You're just going to keep carrying on as normal? Because I don't see anything changing, mate. And we have a mission ahead of us. We need to remove Labor, Albanese and the radical left disease that has infiltrated our parliamentary system. And it seems that we don't share the same ideas and values. If the election were held today, the answer is clear. The Australian Labor Party is heavily favoured to retain government. Well, this is not good. While One Nation has disrupted the traditional two-party system and redefined parts of the Australian political map, current polling projects that the ALP would secure a solid majority again. Far out. This is why I was hoping that the coalition might have ditched the Nationals and put One Nation in there to band together to make sure the Labor Party does not succeed in gaining a third term. What on earth is going on here? This is what I've been saying for a while, my fellow Australians. We need to come together to remove the Labor Albanese government once and for all. Let me know below in the comments what political party in Australia has the most support from my fellow Australians that we can actually achieve this goal. Who's going to get most of the support? If we all band together and let's say we put aside the Liberal, the Labor, the Nationals and the Greens, and we all want to get behind one political party, who is it? Who is going to gain the most support so we can finally remove this radical left disease that has infiltrated our government? This is the mission. I'm just going to have a bit of a chat about what Angus Taylor's been talking about the last few days. Opposition leader Angus Taylor says he will not enter a coalition with Pauline Hanson One Nation Party. I'm ruling it out, he said on the 7:30 report. There is no plan to form any kind of coalition with One Nation. Horrible idea. Mr. Taylor was adamant that the current Liberal coalition with the National Party would not change, as he attacked One Nation's policies. One Nation would, as a government, leave us with an eternity of pain, he was saying. They have a grab a bag of policies where even just a small substance of them would take this country into a fiscal crisis, higher inflation, higher interest rates and higher mortgage costs. What nonsense. Have you not realised that there's been 15 consecutive interest rate hikes in Australia under the Labor Albanese government? Inflation is the highest that it has ever been in Australia. The debt in Australia is the highest that it has ever been. It is nearly $1 trillion, mate. Australian businesses are going down the gurgler. Production and manufacturing in Australia is declining. Our GDP has fallen off a cliff. Stop talking nonsense, Angus Taylor, or you can fuck off back out of our parliament like Susan Lee has. I'm sick to death of this fucking nonsense. That's not something Australians can afford, he says. Shut up, Angus. What's happening at the moment, mate, is a complete abomination. You've got Australians living in tents. You've got mass immigration coming into our country where you're favouring immigrants over Australian-born citizens. Stop talking bullshit, mate. We need people in our parliament who are going to look after our great country and look after my fellow Australians. And I gave up. Can't read any more of this nonsense. My fellow Australians, I believe we have a bit of an issue ahead of us in the next 2 years. If we don't sort our shit out, unfortunately, Labor and Albanese ain't going anywhere from what I'm reading and from what I'm seeing. So you let me know down below, and thank you again for your time, your support, and I appreciate all your messages. And thank you for giving me a platform for our great country to be a voice for my fellow Australians and to be a voice for our great ancestors. You all have a great rest of the day, eh? I'll attach that video of David Littleproud. And I knew as soon as you got rid of David Littleproud and put Matt Canavan in, the national parties are done. And you haven't changed my thought process on that at all.
Farewell to old England forever. Farewell to my rom-coms as well. Farewell to the well-known Old Bailey, where I used for to cut such a swell. Singing tooralai-ooralai-adity, singing tooralai-ooralai-ay, singing tooralai-ooralai-adity, and we're bound for Botany Bay. There's the captain as is our commander, there's the boatswain and all the ship's crew. There's the first and the second class passengers, knows what we poor convicts go through. Singing tooralai-ooralai-adity, singing tooralai-ooralai-ay, singing tooralai-ooralai-adity, and we're back